Hello my friends and welcome to another VR modding tutorial that's been pretty long overdue, because this time we will be making a VR mod for newer Unity versions. So as most of you probably know, I have made a playlist of VR modding tutorials before. Clicking on it right now. And this one, ambitiously titled How to Make a VR Mod for a Mono Unity Game, didn't turn out to work for absolutely every Mono Unity game. So as it turned out, I've got these two engine versions. Somewhere between these two engine versions, Unity changed the way they do VR, which as a side effect forced us to also change the way we make VR mods. So if you're trying to make a VR mod for a newer Unity version using this method, it probably won't work. Feel free to try it if you're desperate, but if you need one for the newer Unity versions, that's also a bit of a workaround, because sadly we haven't perfected the new method yet. It's still a bit jittery. Like it gets perfect VR, but something is wrong and it jitters a bit. You can see this in the clip I will include at the end of the actual end result of our VR modding session today. But I can promise you it will work fine and you will be very happy to finally view your favorite modern Unity game in VR. So where do we start? Let me start by showing you just the game running normally. So as you can see, this is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Contrary to Pathfinder Kingmaker, this game uses a newer Unity version, forcing us to use the newer methods. And as you can see, aside from the from the install of BepinEx, this is pretty much vanilla Wrath of the Righteous. So no tricks here. You will be able to repeat this after me if you've got the game as well. So let's just start up the game. As you can see, the BepinEx window is loading. It tells us 0 plugins to load. So again, no tricks here. Got my Quest 2 connected via virtual desktop at the moment, and as you can see, it's not in VR, just flat screen. But to make sure, we're going to load the 3D scene. Oh, almost forgot to plug in my gamepad, my Xbox gamepad. We're going to need that to control the menu so we actually get the VR mod working. So I'm just going to plug that in right now. Fun fact, this is my second take of this tutorial and I lost like an hour of footage because I accidentally captured the wrong thing, so there was no video. But I came upon a bug anyway, so needed some time to fix it anyway. Alright, my controller isn't working, probably because I booted this up in keyboard mode.
Let us be off!
But again, as you can see, this is just the flat screen game, nothing special. And why yes, that is Billy Herrington as a player character. Majestic. Alright, with that out of the way, let's commence the tutorial proper. So the first thing you're going to need is to install BepinEx for your game. It's very easy to do, but I'm not going to show this in the video. You can just go to BepinEx. I will give a link to this in the description. There's a simple guide to installing BepinEx, it's very easy. There's also a guide for creating plugins, which you are also somewhat going to follow. Let me take a look at my documentation real quick. Alright. So after installing BepinEx to your game, it's time to actually make a BepinEx plugin for it. Now, I could just tell you to just learn it yourself, because once again it's pretty easy to do, but there is one important caveat, and I'll show you right now. So let's go to proper folders. I've got the Pathfinder VR folder, that should do it. Open Windows PowerShell, let's say, and enter the code we need to make a new BepinEx 5 plugin, which is all documented in here. Writing a basic plugin, creating a new plugin project. It gives us the code we need to enter. After the N comes our name for our project. After the T comes a TFM, something like target framework something, and U for the Unity version. Now, getting the Unity version is very simple. Again, it's explained in the guide, but if you go to Pathfinder, we just right click the exe, go to details, and here you can see it's version 2020.3.33. So write it down somewhere, whatever it is for your game. And then go check what your .NET target framework has to be. And following this guide for my game, I come up with net 46. Again, because the MS core lib is a certain version. But here's the rub, here's the caveat. Using net 46 will cause errors, or at least did cause errors in the previous VR modding project, and I believe it caused errors in this one as well. So what you want to do is install net 461, which is just a newer version of the net 4.6. Doing this will prevent compiler errors later on that are unsolvable otherwise. So I don't remember 100% for sure if this is needed for the newer OpenXR method for modding Unity games, but at the very least it doesn't cause any harm, so you might as well do it. Alright, so a new BepinEx 5 plugin. I've had my reasons for choosing BepinEx 5 before, and you know, it still works here, works fine. Give it a name. I'm going to call it RAT tutorial, correct TFM and correct Unity version. Then you just enter it, and look at that, it was created successfully. No need to do anything else. Let's go check it out. RAT tutorial, perfect. Let's open the CS project using Visual Studio 2022. While we're at it, quickly check if you're recording correctly. Yeah, looks like it. Alright. Yeah, don't want to lose another full hour of footage again. That wasn't fun. Alright, looks like we're here. And now starts the real work. Let's just open our plugin. Well, the easiest part of starting out is that you can just copy over the code I put on my Vrat project, which is, I will give a link to this repo in the description, by the way. This is a project that got VR working. I even made a video about it, about how it looks, you know, the weird disco fever dream video. But this code 100% works, at least for the game that I tried it out on, which is a newer Unity version game. It has those stutters, but you know, you can use it as a reference, or even better, just straight up copy the code. So let's go do that. Let's copy some of the code. If I go back to Fraud, open it, you can start copying. What else is there to say about this project? Yeah, it will get updated in the future probably, so it will get more and more complex, but the code you need, you will see it in this video anyway, so you'll be able to extract it later, or maybe you'll find an even better method. VR modder guys are very smart, very cool people, so they might find a better method in the near future somewhere. Alright, so this is the main plugin. So what we are going to do is just copy over, well, I could copy over everything, but let's start copying over parts. So let's go over here, copy over this code. This is just some info of your mod. This is the game.exe part and the gamepad, which is very useful in general. This is just a string I made so you can identify the HMD model the player is using. Because, well, I have a BepinEx and there's some BepinEx exclusive bugs in the VR mod, which is why this can be very handy, among other things. And this is some code we actually have to use to enable VR. And this is something we use to hack together stereo. We make a second camera, a second eye object. So let's just copy this over. I have to copy this over in the right place. So here, these are just variables, so not in any function. And as you can see, there's already some red text. Some things are, well, not recognized. So let's just copy over the right references. Let's try system reflection. Looks like that didn't do anything yet. That's alright. There we go, that already did something. You know what, let's just try using system in general. Let's see if that works. No, it doesn't. Alright. What I'm trying to do right now is getting the red squiggly lines off of the process and part. Well, I know if you just copy over these things, let's maybe do system IO. There we go, that's the part already gone. If you do system diagnostics. Alright, process and part are gone. So that's the system specific stuff for now. And now we have Unity stuff and Unity XR and XR management stuff. Let's go do that real quick. So just using, I believe Unity editor, I don't know, Unity engine. That's the important one. There we go, those are gone now. And now we've got our famous Unity XR stuff. So if I go over here, this is the unity.xr namespace. Let's just copy over this one, but you're going to notice something. It doesn't recognize it. We don't have it referenced in an assembly. So let me quickly copy over these as well. So it doesn't recognize these because we haven't actually linked the libraries for these. Now here comes the, well, not so fun part. These libraries are not included by default in the game. So if you go to Pathfinder, data, managed, there are no, if you check, no Unity XR things. They are not here. This is of course no problem because we can just generate them ourselves. So solution for that is open your Unity hub and download the exact same engine version as your game.exe version, as a Unity version of the game you're trying to mod, and just create an empty project for it. I have already got one, so I'm going to open that. This won't take too long. Again, it is important that you use the exact same Unity version as your game's running on. And you can just start an empty project. It doesn't even need to be a VR project or something, just a normal empty project is fine. In the meantime, we can copy over some more code. So this is important. This is just a static mono behavior class that doesn't really do much but call our function in a coroutine. So it's probably a very hacky way of doing it. But let's see, where is it? It's also just a variable, so it's before awake. Alright. Then there is a startup logic. Don't need this code. This is to force gamepad usage in my game. It's game specific, so it probably won't even work on your game, so don't worry about it. Then just replace this here. The asset loader is something custom. We don't need it yet. That's for when we actually develop our mod further. This is for loading custom 3D models and stuff. Alright. And then the big initialize VR function. This is an important one. This is where a lot of the magic happens, but not all. There's a little bit of magic hidden in every file. And this has to be a separate function, so not in awake. As you can see, there are some errors popping up, no problem. We're going to fix that soon. So in the meanwhile, Unity has started. It's even showing us a beautiful skybox, but this is again some custom work. This will not be in your this will not be in your new project. But other than that, this is pretty much an empty project with the plugins already installed. Now, what plugins are you wondering? The SteamVR plugin, which you can just get it from the asset store for free, or if you if this doesn't work with the latest asset store version, I believe it does for me, then you can go to this GitHub, which I will link in the description, and you can go to the releases and pick a release whose date is closest to your Unity version release date. Keep in mind the Unity version release date is not the same as this. Remember this one being released in 2019 or something, so keep that in mind. You'll have to search it up in the database. There's also some text here that can probably help you out. Anyway, so once you've downloaded that and double clicked it to install it, congratulations, you've got your SteamVR plugin ready. But it's not as simple as just using SteamVR this time. You need to go to the package manager, click here packages in Unity registry. Just a minute. And then we need to go and install the XR plugin management package. I've already done this, but you can do it here. just install it and click yes to everything they demand. This is not like negotiating with terrorists, you can just comply with everything. Alright. So once that's installed successfully, along with your SteamVR plugin, you can go to File, or you can go to Edit, Project Settings, and there will be a handy XR plugin management tab in there. So go click that, and it's very important that you click these two things. You want a check mark next to the OpenVR loader and next to OpenXR. Then you go click here, go to OpenXR, render modes. It will be a lot better if you set this to multipass. Later, if you really know what you're doing, you can try and attempt to force this into a single pass instance, which is supposed to run better, but it will break your shaders and it might not even be compatible with the current method and everything, so keep it on multipass for now. You can keep the rest like it is here. Play mode OpenXR runtime might be important. I've set mine to the Steam OpenXR runtime. There's a lot of questions and answers about this online, about OpenXR runtime. So if you don't know about it, just Google it. And for OpenVR, you want the application type to be scene, not overlay. Stereo rendering mode multipass, and mirror view mode, well, right should be good. Alright, so that's all you need to do with your plugin for now. But we will need to actually build our project. Don't worry, it won't take long because it's just an empty project. Add your open scenes, which for me gives me just a sample scenes. You know, for good luck. Don't know if it's really necessary, but it doesn't screw anything up. Target platform Windows, 64-bit, and build it in a build folder maybe, like I did. I was about to swear in a YouTube video. That's a big no-no. Imagine the advertisers. Alright, it's building, take your time. Not going to break the flow of the video here, or I would do something in the meantime. But we don't want to confuse the people that don't pay attention for every second of this probably hour long video. We're going to try to have a bit of mercy. Good job, by the way, if you've been following up until now. I can promise you soon enough you'll get actual VR working. So it opened the folder of the build, which is just your project and then the build folder for me. Now comes the part where we have to copy over some files. So go back to your folder of your project, well, your BepinEx project, and let's, for convenience sake, let's create a folder called libs for libraries, and we're going to copy over a whole lot of stuff to here. So I'm going to make it easy like this. First thing, go to managed, we copy over SteamVR and SteamVR actions. I know Steam, well, we're going to drop this in a managed folder so you know where it will have to go later. So SteamVR should be guaranteed if you install the plugin correctly, but SteamVR actions might depend on you actually having some actions set up. I'm not too sure about that. And if you don't get it, try setting up some actions in SteamVR inputs. Which is here, as you can see, I've got some actions set up. You can save and generate, open the binding UI. It should give you a SteamVR actions. And miraculously, we've got our Unity XR management. Unity XR OpenVR, Unity XR OpenXR. We've got these, isn't that nice? I'm going to copy over the whole bunch just to be sure. I think the most important ones are the top 3 here. But let's copy them all over, it won't hurt. And that's about it from managed. Now we go to plugins. We go here to plugins. OpenVR API. OpenXR loader might be very important. This was something I still had to test out. This might fix a lot of stuff, so I'm just going to try it here live in the video. Let's see what happens. And then these two are very important. Unity OpenXR and XR SDK OpenVR. Let's copy these over in plugins. Then we have to go to streaming assets, SteamVR. Oh, what's that? No, that's wrong. Okay. Alright. Streaming assets. Well, we can just, since it's only SteamVR, we can just copy over the whole folder. That's not what I meant to do. There we go. Same with Unity subsystems. You'll have a Unity OpenXR subsystem and an XR SDK OpenVR subsystem, which will just contain a very small manifest for both. Don't worry if you don't know what that is. I barely know either, but if you just copy them, things will work. There we go. What now? Well, now we can actually link these things. So if we go to here, as you can see, we want Unity Engine XR Management, Unity Engine XR OpenXR, and Unity XR OpenVR. So we're just going to go to dependencies. I'll first maybe save our project, so we have a nice solution file we can come back to later. Save it, click yes to everything. Alright, let's add those dependencies now. Go to add assembly reference. And let's see, we want Unity XR OpenVR, Unity XR OpenXR, and Unity XR.management. Let's add these and watch as a whole lot of errors disappear. Good enough, good enough. Why is this not the typo namespace name list could not be found? Oh, alright. What could that be? Let's just copy over the whole shebang here. There we go, now it knows what a list is. So this piece of the code is working, that's nice, this piece is working. The harmony part is not working because we have not referenced harmony yet, which is as easy as just using harmony lib. If you don't know what harmony is a hooking library that's extremely useful and you will want to use later on. There we go. Here we create the static object on the plugin awakes, and we make our static mono behavior, which is just some kind of Unity script object thing. We make it start a coroutine init VR loader. It is important that you do this as a coroutine. For that you need the static mono behavior, because otherwise for some reason it will not work. Like this code is almost the bare minimum you need to actually get things working. So pretty much everything is important. So SteamVR actions, well, we just have to use valve.vr here. There we go, and we still have to reference it, so back to add assembly reference. Oh wow, that was using the wrong folder. Well, never mind. Oops. SteamVR and SteamVR actions. Need SteamVR actions for this little piece of code and for input later. And would you look at that? Almost everything is right. Now, these logs is a custom logging system I copied from Raikuparta. This is extremely useful for debugging, so you will want to also include something like this. I know, let's include it. Let's make a little folder called helpers. So, go to our tutorial. No, that's not it. Go here. Add folder. Helpers. And in helpers we add a new item. We go to Visual C# items, a class. We're going to call this class, how are we going to call it? Logs. Alright. Logs.cs. Just add that and copy over the logs code here. Which is basically using Unity's debug log system. And it should be able to resolve the logs. Does not resist. We probably just have it in the wrong namespace. Let me check. Yeah, the namespace is VR Maker here, so we're going to want to change this to our own namespace. You can always change this if you want. To change it to write tutorial. And if you do that, it will be able to write logs. So if you want to log something, just type logs.writeinfo. Then you can put a string in here and plus any variable you want. It will try to make it readable and log it. Now as for the input manager, we won't need that as well. So just comment it out. Now here are two very bad naughty boys. They are bad and naughty because we absolutely need them for our VR mod to work, but they are hidden. They are private. So what we need to do is publicize our Unity Engine XR.management DLL. We need to publicize it. Now there are many ways to do this, but a very easy way is to just use Raikuparta's Unity libs nuget GitHub. Again, I will provide a link in the description. Otherwise you can just copy what you see here. And well, it's easy, just download this. You can download the code. You can even download it as a zip as you want. Then go to where you downloaded it. I've named it WTR Game Libs. And if you follow the guide precisely, you will be able to actually strip all the game libraries and upload it as a package to nuget. It's very useful. But for that you will have to follow his tutorial. Right now we just want to do one thing, and that's strip one specific DLL. So we open strip assemblies or strip assemblies. Just open it using your favorite text editor, and in set to publicize you add unity.xr.management.dll. You add this little thing here. That's all you need to change to this file. Now, of course, you will it will search for these files in your game file, in your game. So it's important that you go to your game, managed, and we already start copying over some of these libraries. The ones you want to copy over to managed are the ones you put here. And just do a nice copy paste. Check if the Unity XR management is here. It is. Amazing. Then go back here. Make sure there are no spaces in the folder path to the strip assemblies, or otherwise it won't work. Again, make sure there are no spaces in the folder path. And then you can just go to your game, grab your exe, whichever one is the actual exe of the game, not a launcher or something, and just drag it over to stripassemblies.bat. So strip, publicize, a whole lot of things, and as you can see, it's finished. And it looks like it worked. Then let's go to package, lib, and copy over. We'll want to copy over these two as well, because these contain the front of the game code normally. Sometimes they are structured differently and the game code is in different files, but usually you want to have these files as well for the actual game modding. And then we copy over, oh, just a sec, something's slowing down my PC. Then you want to copy over unity.xr.management. So copy these three, go to your tutorial, libs, and just paste them here. Might want to overwrite. Well, no, don't overwrite the old one, because the old one is easier to inspect in dnSpy because it's not been stripped. But we're going to use this. Let's go again to dependencies, add assembly reference, and add these three. The assembly C-sharps are not necessary yet for some things. They are not necessary in this code yet, but you will need them later to access the game's camera and stuff. Alright, let's see if it works. Crickets, that's the same error I got last time. Well, let's see how we fix this. Managed to fix this today by just seeing that I referenced the wrong version. Front tutorial, libs, managed, yeah, that's the wrong one. We want to remove this. Go to dependencies, add assembly reference. And you absolutely want to reference this one, the strip down. It will be 10 kilobytes instead of the 15 kilobytes here. So add this one. And let's hope it works. Let's try building it. It failed. Yeah, this is where it gets weird. You don't need to do anything special. It will just, again, it tells me it will work, I guess, if you just overwrite it. So just go here, managed, and override it. Let's remove and edit again just to be sure. Unity.xr.management. Give it some time. Build it, and now it succeeded. Now it recognizes these two critical functions. Oh, it worked just now. Let's try building it again. Ah, don't be like that, IntelliSense. Don't be like that. Maybe if we just save and reopen it. Open with Visual Studio 2022. Fingers crossed. Hey, nice. Alright, with that working, we are already very happy, but we're not there yet. So what we're going to do now is copy over the other files we need to copy, which will be handily placed in libs. So we're going to copy over the plugins directory. Copy over these. Pathfinder, authorities, data, plugins. Alright, I already got these here from last time. But as you can see, by themselves they don't do anything. You need your own plugin to enable the VR. Let's also go to, I believe, what was it? Streaming assets. Copy your SteamVR folder over to it. Then go to Unity subsystems. Your game may or may not have this folder already. I don't know if my game had this by default or if I just place it here, but if it's not there, just make a folder called Unity subsystems or just copy it like this. And there we go, that's all the files we need to copy. Well, no, what am I saying? We also need our proper mods, our RAD tutorial mod, which will go in BepinEx plugins. And also to stop some errors from forming, we need that standard.dll in here. And assemblytools.net, I believe. Let's try it without these two and see what happens. We're going to be a bit experimental. So let's see what happens. Gamepad is plugged in, VR headset is on. I'm just going to turn it on. Connect to my PC. This won't take, so take just a few seconds. Or a minute maybe. Of course, there's always some Wi-Fi issues when I'm trying to record. Alright, I'm in VR. Let's launch the game and see what happens. Let's take a special note of the BepinEx console. That does not sound good. What does it say? could not load file or assembly net standard, and it just loads as usual. Alright. So this is why we need the net standard. Let's exit that. Developing this in VR right now. So tutorial net standard. BepinEx patches. I just place this here. And let's try again, see what happens. What does the console say? Oh, SteamVR just started. That's mirroring what I see. What is the game doing? Oh, that's interesting. That is actually extremely interesting. I might have just found a way to bypass the bad jittering tutorial I was, the hacking method I was doing before. Oh, that is gold. If this works, people, I will be extremely happy. A, to use gamepad. Again, this will probably not work using a keyboard and mouse, which is why you have to use the gamepad. Come on, please load. I would be so very happy if you did. Oh, that is nice. By the way, I'm not seeing anything in my VR headset yet. Let's continue the game. Nope, I'm not seeing anything yet except for like a gray screen. But let's see what happens when we're in an actual 3D scene. If this does end up working right now, it will be because of the OpenXR loader we also copied into the plugins. I believe I did not do that for my previous version. Alright, fingers crossed, fingers crossed. And well, it looks weird, but I am not able to see anything in VR. Which is alright, I have... we will fix this in the rest of the tutorial. But it's only slightly a shame that I can't see this in VR yet. Or already. Let's pause the game. Take off the headset. And check what our dear BepinEx log is telling us. Might give us some hints. Alright, connected. That looks like failed setting event system current to unknown event system. Use subsystem manager to load XR devices. Oh well, if I do end up taking this lead and finding a way to get better VR, I will make a second tutorial for this. But for now, we are trying to, just get it working in general in the way I know works. So let's quickly turn off the headset. There we go. VR view will be like that. Can make you full screen. Alright, so the game is somewhat doing weird VR stuff now, but it's not actually showing up in the headset. This is the part where we do our little hacky trick, and I'm going to show it right now. This is the part where our second eye and second camera come in. So how I did this, and I will probably brush a bit too quickly over this, is I create a camera manager. Oh well, I don't think we actually need the camera manager here. I think we can just use, let's see, handle stereo rendering. Yeah, we're just going to create a camera patches file. So we're going to again go here, tutorial, add new folder, VR camera, add a new folder to this, camera patches, and this is where the hooking comes in, the harmony. I'm going to call this, going to rename this to just patches, and we're going to add a file, new item, a new class called camera patches. Alright, and let's just copy over some of the code. You want to copy over all this. Using Kingmaker. Kingmaker is the name of my game's, well, not my game, but the game I'm working with, of its game specific code. So you'll want, let's say you're working on Risk of Rain or something, you want to use using ROR2 or something, that's you want to put there, your game specific reference. Alright, so we're here and we're going to rename this to just namespace routes tutorial. Yep, I'm going to do a harmony patch here to make harmony, to let harmony know there's a patch over here. Oh, that's strange, why is a little space there? Oh well, in this camera patches class we are going to, let's see, going to add this little function. So what this is a harmony postfix, which means it will get executed after the function we are hooking. And here you tell which function you want to hook. You say type of kingmaker.view.cameraRig, this is the class, and this is the name of the function, kingmaker.view.cameraRig.onEnable. Now this cameraRig is not a general Unity class, this is a game specific class, so you want to find a nice function to hook when you know that the camera starts. So think a bit about this, maybe ask me in the Discord channel, the Flat Screen to VR Modding Discord channel, maybe just in the YouTube comments if you don't want to join that Discord. And we will try and find a nice place to hook this. But generally you just want to hook this whenever a camera spawns that actually renders. Alright, I call it on camera rig enabled. You can log this for extra info. We don't want to reduce the near clipping at this time. Now this is important, without this code there is no head tracking. So Kingmaker game, you get your camera, you get the game object of the camera, and you add a component named SteamVR tracked object. Without adding this to the camera, your VR camera will not track your head, which is apparently a feature of OpenXR, but I preferred it when it was done automatically, but oh well. And then go to your plugin.secondEye, make a new object called secondEye, second camera, you assign this as well. You add a component to secondEye, and you also give it a, you also track this second component. And then you do this is also very important, you copy from the main camera to the second camera, which is mainly copying all of the settings to the second camera. Now without this the right eye gets stuck at a very far point in the map, also very important, which is just giving it the same transform parent as the normal camera. And this is some BepinEx specific code. Well, this doesn't even work yet anyway, so we're going to delete it. And now we still need to do some other stuff. Now we need to go to, right, let's see. Alright, this is important. I believe it is important anyway. Let's copy over this function as well. Are we still recording? I hope so. Yes, we are. Alright, so if we handle the camera, well, don't worry about the mode stuff. We're just going to handle stereo cameras. Let's do that, and let's make a function here. Public void handle stereo cameras. Alright. If you make it a static, alright, static void handle stereo cameras, that's nice. And in this handle stereo cameras, by the way, this is hooked to a certain tick function. So find the tick function in your game or on late update or something and do it there. You want this code to be executed every tick anyway, because this will actually update your frames rendering. You can probably do this in your my static MB somewhere, but we're not using the improved code yet. We're just doing our best at the moment, using what we know worked. So in the camera manager, we want to go to, let's see, handle first person camera, handle, I believe there was a handle demo camera somewhere here. Well, this is the important part, handle stereo rendering, but when are you called? Find all references. Aha, it's in attached UI, alright. Ah, yes, indeed. So apparently this tick function does not do much. So we are going to have to, well, yeah, it's just the way. If I want to do something every tick, it is a lot easier in my game I'm working with to just do it over here in an attached UI, which means I have to copy over the UI system. Let's try and do some live problem solving. Because this is just what we want. Camera manager handles stereo rendering, but let's try and improve this live. Go to our plugin, we go to our mono behavior, and we paste in this. Don't want to update transform. Camera patches. Handle stereo rendering. Public static void. Alright, now it is very important. It is very important that you don't do this unless your second camera and unless both cameras are ready. Otherwise you might crash or something. Alright. So all we have to do now is copy over the code here. And we should be done. So copy over this code. And let's try and explain the code a little bit. So you do this every frame. You get your main camera, your normal game camera, you set its field of view to the SteamVR instance field of view. So you set the field of view right for one eye. You set its stereo target eye to either left or right. Here it's left, there it's right. Extremely important, you set the projection matrix right, which you just use get stereo projection matrix from the camera, from the right eye. And the most important part of all, you set the camera's target texture to get render texture for render pass from my display, which is why we need this code of my display here. This is basically telling us from paint whatever you see to the target or VR to our VR screen, basically. And for the second camera, you also set its transform, position, rotation, and local scale, the same as the other camera, because otherwise this won't work correctly. Set it to enabled, and you do the same stuff. Alright, and if this works, we should have working VR. So let's just build it. Go back here. Copy over our little DLL. Drop it in BepinEx, plugins. Wish me good luck. Alright, I'm already in VR. Probably don't want that. Let's do it clean and make it start VR for us. And let's do it. Let's go, boys. Alright, VR is starting. That's good. Can you see what I'm seeing? Oh, you can see what I'm seeing. That's great. You see a black screen. That's ooh. This is actually better than what I got before. Normally I can't see shit at this part. Which might mean this is not in VR yet, by the way. I will switch to VR view when something actually renders. I'm using my controller for inputs. Camera rig will get enabled. It will get enabled when the game starts. When we are actually in a 3D scene, it will enable the camera rig, and that will set things up for our VR rendering. Almost there. Well, this is interesting. Well, this is very interesting because nothing is getting actually submitted to my to my headset, which probably means that we got the activation code right, but the handle stereo rendering is just never getting called. To just prove it, this is my VR view, just nothing. What does BepinEx tell us? Same thing as last time. Alright, let's get a bit creative. It just does not get, this update just does not get called, I believe. Well, let's do it the old-fashioned way then. Let's put this away from here. You will have to copy over some more code. Promise you it won't be that bad. I'm going to copy over this code. So we're going to go to here. New item, new folder, UI, then patches, you're at the very last stretch, people. Don't worry, things will be fine. Patches, we're going to make a class called UI patches. UI patches, and in this UI patches we will just copy what I have. Copy over the whole thing, just make sure you adjust the namespace later. Adjust it to Route Tutorial. It should pretty much be universal code. So this should work for everything, except for, you know, the Kingmaker UI, UI canvas. Yeah, you want again this hook to be at the place where your canvas starts. Let's see, we're almost there. Just create an attached UI. So first we create a static UI. In UI, add new item, static UI. Should also have the benefit of moving the UI away from our face, which is pretty nice. I've made a whole tutorial about this in the past, so attached UI. Let's do static UI first. Just copy this over. Copy over the namespace. Now we just need to do attached UI. Namespace route tutorial. Alright, so you can leave these things here. Update transform. Yeah, this is not a game specific. This is again game specific code. You want to just get your game's camera here. That's all you need to do. Just somehow get the main camera of your game, which, if I remember correctly, is just camera.main. Camera.main should work usually instead of a game.getCamera. And now we just do our handle stereo rendering in here, which at least for me works. We do just change this to camera patches. And just to make sure, we're going to log this. Going to log every time it updates. Attached UI updated, and we're going to log whenever it handles stereo rendering. Handling stereo rendering. Save everything and build it. There we go, it succeeded. Back to our binary folder, debug at 461 tutorial. To the game, BepinEx. And now you should see a working game in VR. Let's quit SteamVR first. If you're still following, if you've been following this tutorial from the start, you're an absolute champion. Well done. You deserve the. You absolutely deserve to see your game in VR now. After all we've went through. It is a SteamVR view. Pathfinder is still starting. Alright, that's what I'm talking about. This blue screen is the empty scene, which just means that we've successfully hijacked our camera. I can't see anything in VR yet. That's because, you know, this is a loading screen. It's not meant. It's just 2D. I can hear the music. Don't know if you can hear the music. And now I just have to trust and press the A button, because the A button skips the intro screen. This will be different for your game. And look at that. We've got a menu for our game. I still can't see anything in VR yet, but if I press continue here, I can see a menu in VR. Oh, that's great. Let me switch. Now let me wait a bit before we're in the actual room, because I believe toggling the SteamVR view actually pauses game input. So yeah. I don't want to be stuck showing you something weird. Just let's see. Almost there, 91%, 92. And there we are in game. can even walk around. Let's go to the SteamVR view to prove it to you guys. And there we go. As you can see, the game is paused. Game is paused when you tap out of it, and to let you guys show the VR view, you have to tap out of it. But as you can see, I'm in VR and the game is fully playable like this. It is a bit jittery, it looks a lot more less frame rate, looks worse in the video than it is in the headset, but there is some significant jittering in the headset, which sucks. But other than that, and other than that some objects will only get rendered for one camera and not for the second eye, other than that, this is pretty much perfect VR, and I really hope you do enjoy it as much as I did, and make a cool announcement video when you get this working. Let's go back to the game. As you can see the game. Character is walking, I hope you can hear it. Let's quickly switch again. SteamVR view. As you can see, I'm now standing over here. As for the menu, that's acting a bit weird. This is because of the clipping distance. So you can check my other tutorials about this, about the menu and stuff. You'll probably want to do this as well, set the clipping distance to a higher number. But that's a tutorial for another day, because today we've just got VR working in our mod. Please enjoy. And let's stop it here. Let's do away with you. Do away with you. As you can see, it's updating every frame. Let's quit SteamVR. Once again, if you've got any questions at all, feel free to ask them either here in the comments or, well, preferably in a flat screen 2VR Discord channel, which I will provide a link for in the description. There are many modders there, many experienced people who are ready and willing to help you. And you can talk with like-minded people there, get some info about developing VR mods that you need. Alright, that's it for today. Thank you so much for following this tutorial, and I hope it worked for you. See ya!